Hello everyone, I'm Arthur Dickins and this is my Rugby Legends podcast. In each episode, I interview an amazing rugby player or coach to get their insight and advice for young rugby players just like me who are keen to learn and get better. In this episode, I speak with Northampton Saints' Ollie Sleightholme, one of the quickest and most clinical wingers in the Gallagher Prem. Ollie started his rugby journey as a 6-year-old at Northampton Old Scouts, following in the footsteps of his father, England international John Sleightholme. He came through the Saints Academy, made his Premiership debut in 2018, and scored within 15 seconds of coming on the pitch. He's gone on to become one of the most exciting wingers in the English game, finishing as a Premiership top try scorer in the 23-24 season with 14 tries, and scoring in the final that season as Saints claimed their first league title in a decade. He's since made his England debut and scored 4 tries during the 2024 Autumn Nations series. Yes, hopefully all this knowledge and wisdom has helped presided. Enjoy. Firstly, Ollie, I just want to say thank you so much for taking the time to be on our podcast. I really appreciate it.
No worries, buddy. No worries at all. And yes, I do remember you from the Prem final when you mentioned coming to ask me about the score. Were you with one of your mates?
Yes, I was with my cousin and my brother.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I do remember. I can't even remember what I said, but I think it was wildly off.
Good win in the end, though.
Yeah, exactly. That's all that matters. That's all that matters.
Firstly, Ollie, congrats on Saints winning the Prem. Was there a bit of mixed emotions for you with not playing?
Yes and no. I think obviously it's hard to watch people go and win stuff, but then at the same time they're all your mates, and you know how hard they've been. Everyone's been trying, and everyone's a part of that throughout the year. And obviously you wouldn't want it to end any other way. And you sometimes you do miss out, and that's just part of rugby, I guess. Really, it's part of what you've got to learn to deal with. And like you look 2-3 years ago when we won it, I was playing, and then I look back and I probably didn't realize the effect it had on the lads that weren't playing at the time because you hadn't been in that situation before. And then once you're in that situation, you actually have a lot of respect for those lads and a lot of understanding of what they go through not playing.
100%. I saw Ed Wardy there. He was doing, I don't know if it was a YouTube vlog, but
I don't know what he was doing, but we kept trying to take the GoPro off him because he was being a bit of a muppet with it. He was trying to film us on the bus on the way down. And he was just like screaming and shouting, running around with it on like a fisheye GoPro. And we were like, Edo, sit down, please. That's enough.
How do you handle injury setbacks and having to watch from the sidelines?
Yeah, it is difficult. I think I've had quite a lot now, so I've sort of got a bit used to it. One of my big things with it is trying to find something else to do within that sort of rehab injury period and taking yourself away from rugby and giving yourself other focuses and other goals. Otherwise, if rugby becomes your one thing that you're focusing on when you're injured, it becomes a really difficult period of time because all you can think about is getting back, and that can become quite consuming, really.
Yeah, when we interviewed Ollie Lawrence, he actually said when he had his Achilles injury, he said he was learning French.
Yeah, exactly. People do loads of different things. I get out of the house and do some of my sort of outdoorsy stuff and bits like that, and try and just, well, as much as I can when injured, but try and get away from it a little bit. Yeah, I've also got a young daughter and another one on the way, so that sort of keeps my hands full anyway, without having to try too hard anyway.
Which of your injuries would you say was the worst one?
I broke my leg and ruptured some ligaments in my ankle, which like was probably the most painful, I would say, and probably these like what you'd probably class as the biggest injury. But then again, I had quite a few concussions and I was out for sort of a long period of time with that. And I think sometimes that what people don't see is that can actually have more of an effect on you as a player because there isn't you're going to be back in 2 months, 3 months, 4 months. It's a bit open ended because they don't know how long it's going to take to heal or when you're going to be ready. So that for me was probably the hardest one to deal with and what I, in my head, would class as my biggest injury. I think a lot of people look at, I presume a lot of people would categorize like breaking your leg as a bigger injury than a concussion. Obviously, a breaking your leg, at least you know when you're going to be back, sort of thing.
100%, I fully agree with that. I suppose
Yeah.
like with Ollie Lawrence when he had his injury, he got his set. I think it was 6 months he's set to get back. And I suppose that's a lot better than with a concussion, and you don't know really, and you can't really do much to help it.
Yeah, and it's also like you come back from a concussion and there's that sort of little bit of doubt in your mind. Like when you come back from a broken leg, you can scan it and see that it's not broken anymore and that your ligaments are fine and everything's. You can't really do that with concussions. Like, well, you can, but you don't know how, if you get hit on the head again, how that's going to affect you or what that's going to do.
How would you deal with those sense of doubts?
Maybe it was a bit of like a put my head in the sand, really. I was like, I'm just going to trust that the people, the professionals that are dealing with this they know far more than I will and ever will about this. So I have to trust what they're saying. I think if you start not trusting what they're saying or questioning it too much or worrying about the effects of stuff, then you never will enjoy it and you'll always be sort of worrying about it. If you make the decision to play, you've just sort of got to get on and sort of try and enjoy it.
Yeah, I heard a lot of people say trust the process or like God's plan.
Yeah, exactly. Like you got to trust these people that are highly intelligent, that research brains and stuff and muscles and bones for years, and they are the people that know best. So you sort of got to trust what they're telling you.
Going back to the start, you went to Northampton School for Boys. Can you tell us about your time there?
Yeah, so I love my time there. I think it solidified to me sort of obviously growing up before that, rugby's competitive, obviously, but I think it that's when it becomes really serious at schoolboy level, where you get proper big like national competitions and stuff, and it sort of that's when I got the real drive to want to like win and want to play to the top level. Obviously, I play with a lot of my friends now, and a lot of the lads I play with I'd class as mates. But when you're at school, you're literally playing with your 23, 24, 25 best friends and very close mates that you have at school. You're all playing together on a team. I don't you'll ever really get that again. And I think if you look at what rugby clubs try and do and how they try and get like team bonding stuff, they're trying to essentially replicate schoolboy rugby and that everyone's mates and just playing for their mates and playing for the fun of it. That's what they're trying to replicate. Northampton do that very well. And it does remind me of playing at school. And I think that's one of the real strengths of it.
You have like any point where you thought, I'm going to go pro, like you knew you were a pro?
No, I didn't really think I was going to go pro until I got the contract, to be honest. I actually got dropped from the Saints Academy when I was 15. I sort of got back in when I was 17. I think that might be a bit off, but roughly that sort of period. I got released before it went into sort of the like junior academy and then got picked back up for the under 18s. But yeah, so I didn't really. I thought I got picked back up, and I thought, oh, they just need another number. Blah blah blah. They've lost someone, and then eventually sort of played some England under 18 stuff, and then I was thinking, oh, maybe, but still, I was like, oh, there's a lot of good wingers already in the academy at Saints and stuff, and then it was about Christmas time of sort of my year 13 year that I got offered a contract, and yeah, it was a bit of a shock to me.
During that time, do you look at any other academies? Because like when we interviewed Tommy Freeman, he went from Leicester to Saints. Because most people go from one academy to another, not Saints to Saints.
If I hadn't have got a contract from Saints, I probably wouldn't have gone down the rugby line professionally. Me at that period of time, Northampton was sort of home. I wanted to play for Saints, and I think I was in a bit of a mindset that if I couldn't play for Saints at that point, I probably wouldn't have. I wouldn't have played. I would have gone on with my studies, or I'd have found something to do that I enjoyed working for and stuff like that. I think that's probably what you see, and that probably is quite a common theme you get for a lot of academies and stuff. There is probably a lot of people that do sort of get sort of missed because they don't go to other academies. Say you've got an academy that's got 4 good centres already in its academy and 1 signing from that year, and you got another one. He might not get a contract, but if he was a separate academy that only had forwards coming through, then he might have got a contract there. But I think they sort of sometimes get missed a bit. I think they definitely did get missed. I think it's probably a lot better now. I think agents are a lot better at sort of picking lads up younger and giving them advice on what to do. I think I was lucky enough to have my agent sort of from 18 years old, 17 years old, and he's been very good and looked after me. But I think a lot of lads in my era probably didn't have that and probably missed out.
Was there any particular jobs, would you say, that you would have gone to if you didn't play rugby?
I think if I hadn't, I wanted to be a gamekeeper. If I hadn't played rugby, I was going to be a gamekeeper. Still sort of want to be a gamekeeper, but a bit past it now. I think it's a bit of a hard job to drop back into. So yeah,
Cool job.
yeah, would have been a cool job. Hard work, but cool. One sec. Bitch, enough. Sorry, my dog decides it wants to bark at everything.
Yeah, what kind of breed dog do you have?
I've got two. I've got a miniature sausage dog, which he's the one that barks all the time, and then I've got a little working cocker, which I actually don't know where he is. He's probably in the garden digging a hole or something stupid like that.
Yeah, we've actually got 2 working cockers.
Yeah. Oh, nice. What are yours called?
Roscoe and Cooper.
Oh, nice. Nice. Let's see if I can get him to. He might clap if I call him Goose. Oh, he's coming. Come here. Yep. Come here. Yep. Here he is. Hello, big dog. Say hello. You big lump. Right. Come here. Go lie down. He's mental. He's been out this morning shooting with me, and he's still mental. Go away.
How important has your mindset been compared to your physical ability in getting where you are?
Yeah, definitely as, if not more important. I think you see a lot of people, we see a lot of people in the world that have the physical attributes to be professional sportsmen and this is in any sport, I guess, but aren't. And I think the one factor that they might not have that the ones that make it have is that mindset and how they can sort of really put their mind to wanting to be something and becoming the best version of themselves. And I think that's a very key element. And I think you see a lot of lads as well that probably aren't as physically or genetically gifted that are still world-class players because of how they apply themselves and because of their mindset. There's a fine line, obviously. You can't not have any physical attributes, but I think you can definitely become a world-class player on 70% mindset sort of element of it.
Would you say which of your mates would you say have like the strongest mindset?
Fraser Dingwall's got a very strong mindset. Yeah, he'd be one that I would put up there. Finn Smith would be another one. Yeah, I think, and I think also you look at those two, and I think especially Dingers, and I think Dingers has said it and will say it that he's actually a lot stronger than he was, but he probably wasn't as physically and genetically gifted as some of the players. But his ability to read the game and his mindset and his mentality, what made him an unbelievable player and what made him one of the best centers in the world. I think that's sort of a blueprint of what I'm sort of talking about. And then you get the other side of it is you're probably not going to know any of their names because they are physically gifted freak athletes, but they never do make it or never do quite get to that level because they haven't got the mindset.
I 100% agree with that. I love how Fraser Dingwall plays. I love that his delay in the past. Like, that's probably a key element why Northampton did so well this season.
Oh yeah, 100%, 100%. He's sort of our rock in the middle of it that keeps everything going, I think.
And Tom Litchfield is really good as well, especially in the semi-finals.
Yeah, exactly. I think that literally this year has been unbelievable, and I think that's really helped our centres with Dingers and Hutch. It's helped both of them. It's pushed them on, obviously, because there's been competition, and also it's allowed us not to burn out centres as well. Like, they do rotate now, and it allows them to all be fresh and allows them all to feel good and allow their body to feel good and allows them to keep going and not picking up little injuries and stuff.
Yeah, because Toy Freeman, he's playing a bit of centre. He's playing the Saturday centre.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, so. Exactly. I think he may have played centre a bit more for us this year had literally not been so informed and flying. I think that might have been a bit of a plan. This is me just guessing it now. It might have been a bit of a plan, but yeah, obviously you see Fremo's one of those players you could put pretty much anywhere, including 10 in his eyes. So don't get him started on that. But yeah, he's one of those players you can put anywhere on the pitch and he'll be pretty much world class.
Do you reckon if you had the chance to play centre, do you reckon you'd take it?
I mean, you never turn it down, would you? I'd definitely say yes. You'd say yes to playing regardless. But yeah, I used to play centre at school. I played centre for Saints remember when you won't remember A League was a thing. So we used to play A League games on a Monday night, which was like the old. I don't know there is nothing to replicate it anymore because the squad sizes are a bit smaller, so you can't play the games. It was basically like a young lads and lads coming back from injuries game, and I played centre up at Newcastle in an A League game on a Monday night. So I have played a professional game at centre, full class it has.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
I see a lot of academy players now, like especially in Saints Academy. Loads of their centres, because they've got really good handling skills, they often get pushed out to wings most of the time.
Yeah, you see a lot of academy centres getting sort of moved out onto the wing and stuff like that. I don't really know why. I think it's probably that their skills are very good, but we've also got centres whose skills are very good, and if they're quick, then you got a quick person with really good hands and really good skills, then why not put them on the wing as well, sort of thing.
Why not?
Exactly. Just have a bunch of fast centres playing the whole back line. It'd be class. I'd lose my job, but yeah.
What does your preparation look like on a match day? And how long did it take to find out what works for you?
I try not to have too many like superstitions. I know a lot of lads do, but I try not to. I don't really know why I don't. I think maybe it's an element of if I wasn't allowed to do it or I couldn't do it for some reason, how would it affect me? So I've never really had any superstitions. I try to stay pretty relaxed for as long as I can. I think I'm one of those people that can play the game before it's been played, sort of in my head, and get myself a bit built up and worked up about it. So yeah, my sort of philosophy is keep calm, sort of try and take my mind off rugby, do other things until I need to really start thinking about rugby. But that doesn't really start for me until I come into the club or I get on the bus to the game, just because I feel like that gives me ample time to get myself ready. And also I'm a better player when I'm not fired up. I'm a better player when I'm pretty calm and I'm sort of really controlled about how I do things instead of being too fired up and too aggressive and stuff like that. I think there's a fine line somewhere in between that.
Well, me and Toy Freeman, he often said before the game he would just start dancing in the changing rooms.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he does do that.
And like Pollock, he tries to get fired up. Like he said, he plays his best when he gets fired up.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that their minds work very differently and need different things. So like you say, Pollock needs to be fired up for him to play well. Other lads need the opposite. Other lads sort of have a medium ground where they need to be a little bit fired up, but can't be too fired up. And it's Fremo. He's a little bit different. We'll just leave him in a different category because I don't think I've ever. He's just Fremo who just danced the whole time. So
bit of Olivia Dean.
Yeah, exactly. It's an interesting changing room, to say the least. You got some lads with their headphones on rapping, Fremo dancing to Olivia Dean in the middle, and Pollock just being Pollock, getting himself fired up. Yeah, it's an odd place to be sometimes. You sort of got to ignore it and just try and focus on yourself a little bit.
Yeah, I have a bit of superstitions. I always have to have my lace in a double knot.
That's probably sensible, to be fair.
Yeah,
saves your laces coming undone.
Yeah, it reminds, for some reason, when I have it not in a double knot, it just reminds me of a clown. Don't know why.
Yeah, I know what you mean. The big old long laces sticking out everywhere. You'll end up falling over them. Yeah, it's probably. You can even argue that's not a superstition. That's just you being a bit smart and switched on and not wanting to fall over.
Exactly.
Right, it's not a superstition. However, I am sick before every game. So when I come back in the changing room after the warm up, I'm religiously sick in the bin in the middle of the room. Yeah.
It's like every game you play.
Yeah. I think it started off as nerves, and now it's just become sort of like an involuntary action that I have to do. It's weird because some of the lads love it, and they're like, "Oh, it gets them like a bit fired up," and some of the lads, it's like that's minging, it stinks. Can you please stop it? There's two camps on me being sick before the game, so you have to ask some of the lads if you see them what they think about it.
What does a typical training week look like? And what do you put in beyond the team sessions?
A typical training week would be sort of you're looking at Monday. We'll go if you've played, so we'll keep it pretty simple. So if you've played, you come in Monday, you do some skills, some recovery bits, some reviews, meetings, stuff like that. Then Tuesday would be our sort of big day. So our bigger gym session, our big rugby session with meetings. We'd be off Wednesday. Thursday would be not a big session, but our other main rugby session, but it'd be quick. So it'd be short and sharp, like really fast stuff with a sort of a power gym and speed at the start of rugby. And Friday is just touches, so like some skill stuff, like really low level, with footballs, tennis balls, stuff like that. And then obviously play on a Saturday. Outside of that, I think a lot of the stuff that I do is sort of recovery based and getting my body into a state where I can train the next day and I can train well the next day. I think I've struggled with injuries and soft tissue injuries quite a bit. I think one of my main things is trying to keep fit. And I think the recovery and the active recovery element of that is really key for me to keep performing and keep playing and keep training.
With like your nerves before a game, like, let's say like the weekend, would you say you like to not think about the game as much, or like would you say you want to think about the game as much as possible?
I think when I'm at work and reviewing stuff, I'll think about it. And I think that's when I give myself time to think about it and review stuff and reflect on stuff and that sort of element of it. But when I'm home, I've got to be dad. I've got to be sort of a husband. I've got to sort of do everything else that's not rugby related. And I think that's really nice for me because it allows me to get away from rugby. It allows me to switch off. I think I struggled with that when I was younger, that it would have been, I wouldn't have done that. I'd have stayed at home thinking about it and because I had nothing to distract me, sort of thing. And I think that was probably quite detrimental to one, probably my performance to an extent, but also my sort of enjoyment of it. I think if you're constantly thinking about it, you struggle to enjoy it a little bit. I guess it's like it sounds stupid, but if you eat chocolate constantly, you probably won't enjoy it. But if you have it like once a week, you'd enjoy it. It's like sort of if it's constant with you, you end up falling out of love with it a little bit.
Yeah, I agree with that. I remember I ate too much whispers, so I just fell out with them. Now I never
Yeah,
eat them.
yeah.
And
There
yeah,
you go.
sometimes I mean, you do rugby. Yeah, people get like have them very sport. Like they say, you've got to be come back, but you've got to be dedicated, and it's got to be.
Yeah,
But yeah,
yeah.
it's good not to have rugby.
Yeah, 100%. I think a lot of people will sort of burn out if they are rugby, and they sort of you see a lot of people fall out of love with it. And that's probably an element of it.
100%. How do you stay grounded when things are going well and their tension increases?
I think for me, like I was once told, like make sure your highs aren't too high and your lows aren't too low. Like stay pretty level. Like whether you've won, you can be a bit like this, but don't be doing this because that's sort of never going to be good for you and like your mental state in that is really difficult to control. I think if you can keep yourself at a level, I think if you can keep pretty internal with it within yourself and nothing really changes as to if you're playing badly, if you're playing well, like what do you need to do to be the best, regardless of whether you're playing bad or good. That's normally the same thing. Like you at your best, what does that look like? And that's sort of what you got to tell yourself and think going into games and stuff like that is what do I need to do to be the best version of myself?
Yeah,
I think also having a child that tries to wrestle you and stuff like that also is an element of keeping you grounded or refuses to go to sleep or screams at you also keeps you grounded no matter how well you're playing.
Yeah, I heard a quote similar to what you said. It's like after a game, if you celebrate really high after you've played well, then when you play really badly, it kind of ruins your day. So you
Yeah,
can't, if you act the exact same, it doesn't really change the mood of your day, really.
exactly. And I think you do have to celebrate and there's nothing wrong with that, but I think it's more the emotional side of it. Like, where are you emotionally? How high is your mood emotionally, as opposed to what your actions actually are? Like, you can go out and enjoy your time and have some fun with your mates, and but also just you can go out and celebrate without it having to be all about the rugby. You can go out and just have fun with your mates and spend some time with everyone. Like, it doesn't have to. But you can do that after you lose. You can still go out and have fun with your mates and stuff like that. It's that consistency of what you do. I think is a real key.
Yeah, after the Prem final, I remember seeing a couple of the extra Chiefs people, like they were having like beers and just chatting. So
Yeah, exactly. I think, well, exactly. They've done phenomenal to get, regardless of what happens in your season. If you've got to a Prem final, you must have done pretty well at some stage or throughout the season. So you've got to celebrate that as well. As losing in a final is worse than losing in a semi-final, because if you lose in a semi-final and the team you lose to goes on and wins it, you're like, oh, fair play. But if you lose in a semi-final and you think you should have won and the team you beat loses, then it's a bit like, oh, yeah, when it all comes down to one game, like you say, you see the stuff that Prem Rugby posts, there's always two sides of it. There's us cheering, celebrating, and then you see the Exeter lads sort of on their knees, hands and knees, crying, like really emotional about it. And then you think, oh, that could have been us. Do you know what I mean? Like there's always two sides to that, and being able to, like you say, I think Prem finals are a bit different on the being like this a bit. You probably can for a Prem if you won the Premiership, you can probably go a little bit mental, and that's fine. But like day to day, week to week in the Prem, then you've got to be pretty level. Nothing's won till the end.
what would you kind of do to celebrate?
I think we just like a lot of the lads like spending time together, just going out with each other, and stuff like that. I think we're a very tight knit group, and I think whatever we do as a group, everyone enjoys and sort of and gets behind.
What kind of like would you ever go to like a restaurant and get your like go-to meal, like a cheat meal after you win?
Oh, is what my cheat meal is? After a win, if we've won and played well, I love. There's a Five Guys right near Northampton. The Five Guys is very good after a game. That'd have to be up there. That'd probably be it. If not a Waggers, which is quite boring actually. I understand. That'd probably be the two. That would be my go-tos.
If I win a final, I'll make sure to go to one of those.
Yeah, give it. Yeah, probably go Five Guys. Waggers is a little bit boring after you won a final. Five Guys a bit more interesting. Yeah.
If you could go back and give your 16-year-old self one piece of advice, what would it be?
To enjoy it, I think that's a really big thing for me. Is I probably there've been moments in the last few years I probably haven't enjoyed playing as much as I should have, and I'm back to a point now where I really am enjoying it. But I think with injuries and stuff like that, I think you've always got to remember how lucky you are, and you've really got to enjoy every moment of it, even the lows. Just enjoy them because you don't know when your next one's going to be, and you don't know if you're going to have another one, and you don't know how long you've got playing this game. You don't know any. You don't know what's happening tomorrow. Like you've got to sort of take every day as it comes and enjoy it as much as you can.
Yeah, a quote I really like that kind of sums that bit up that I think about for a game is play every game like it's your last.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. Like, well, the sad reality is you never know when it is. Like you see lads that have had to retire from rugby at quite young. You see people just retiring because they've had enough of it. It's you never really know when your last game is going to be. So like it's 100% what you said. You have to play every game like it's your last.
Yeah, like Anthony Watson, he retired very young.
Yeah, exactly that. It's you look at those people, and there's a lot of people that probably didn't know they'd played their last game. Like they've played a game, got injured, and never really got back, and then had to retire, and they might not have realised that their last game was their last game. Obviously, the fairy tale is to announce your retirement at 36 and play your last game and get a farewell, but it's not really how it works for everyone.
How do you handle making mistakes in big games? Do you have a process of it quickly?
Yeah, I just try to sort of think of that sort of next job, like what's the next thing I can do. And a big thing for me is not chasing the mistake. I think I've been guilty before of chasing, trying to right my wrong sort of thing, and I think that's when you can get into an element of trying to do too much or going off script and costing the team even more. So I think it's very much stay to the game plan, stay to the script, but keep trying to be the best you can be and go and make your next action positive sort of side of it, as opposed to, oh, I've messed that up. Let me go and try and solve it and run around the pitch like a headless chicken. Then you end up giving another two penalties away, and then the other team score, and then you feel like a real idiot.
Yeah, as Ted Lasso said, memory like a goldfish.
Exactly that, 100%. You gotta leave it, and then you can review it on the Sunday and the Monday. You'll come back to review it and see where you went wrong and stuff like that. And yeah, there's no point in trying to review it or dwell on it in the game. There's nothing good's going to come of that at that point.
What role has the Saints environment played in your growth, and what should young players look for in a club?
I think Saints are very, very good at giving you confidence and also developing you as a player and really putting effort and time into young players. I think they put the effort, the time in to make these young players what they are, and then give them the confidence to say, right, go and play, go and do you, go and do what you're good at. Like, don't worry about making mistakes, just back yourself, sort of thing. And I think that's one thing that they are amazing at compared to other clubs where you see that's probably not the ethos, and there's probably lads worrying about making mistakes and trying to stick to almost trying to play like players before them as opposed to trying to play like themselves. I think that's a big one. Like that, you probably look a few years ago and people would try and replicate the person they're replacing as opposed to just actually, no, I'm who I am. I'm going to go out there and play my game as opposed to their game.
Yeah, 100%. I see a lot of rugby players like saying the way they make themselves better is playing at a high standard, and it's what separates. So, for example, Freddie Stewart, he gets chosen for like maybe against South Africa if they kick a lot because he's really good under the high ball.
Yeah,
That's like his game. That's his speciality.
yeah, 100%. I think that's one thing you've always gotta. Everyone has something they're really good at, and I think it's just trying to get that on the pitch as much as you can. Do what you're good at as much as you possibly can, because that's sort of what gets you picked.
What would say your speciality is?
Sort of finishing tries off, I would guess. Like sort of, I would say it would be beating people sort of and finishing tries. Yeah, like being able to get over the line in sticky situations and stuff like that.
Can you have any new celebrations in the next season?
Probably not. Mine won't be as extravagant as everyone else's. I don't think. I don't normally celebrate at all, so maybe I'll have to come up with something, but I don't know what yet. The only time I ever celebrated was well properly was when my daughter Lyra was born. Everyone did this, like the little baby cradle. That was the only one I've ever committed to doing. I haven't really ever had a celebration.
Yeah, because
You have to come up with one for me because I ain't got a. There's a few of the lads have some, yeah, strange ones.
yeah, Toy Freeman has the wheelbarrow. He said he really likes that one.
Yeah, what was the one that Finn did?
Scuba.
Yeah, that one. Don't know what that. I still don't know what that is. I'm too old.
Yeah, and Pollock has like the basket with throw, the pulse.
Yeah, he's got a. I think he's got more than he can count on two hands. To be fair, celebrations he's got lined up to do. Fair play to him. He's inventive and imaginative. That's for sure.
Yeah, no, I got told he found one of the a United player. He found a celebration of the
Oh
United.
yeah, doesn't surprise me. Yeah, he's a he's a funny old character, Henry. Love him to bits, but he's absolutely mental.
What's one piece of advice you'd give to any aspiring winner?
Probably the same I'd give to like, when you ask me about myself, just to enjoy it. Enjoy what you're doing. I mean, if you don't, then that's probably time when you've either got to find a way to love it again or move on. I think technically, if you're asking like a technical point for a young winger, I think the way the game's going nowadays, you'd probably say work on your aerial skills, work on being able to catch the ball under pressure, catch the ball above your head, go and win the ball back. I think that's going to come into the game a lot more. Well, it already has, but that's going to become sort of a real point of difference for wingers, and I think every winger's going to need to be able to do it.
Yeah, when we interviewed Ollie Collins, he was talking about his. There's so much more to it than actually people think. Like you really
Yeah,
got to work on it.
yeah, 100%. It's not as easy as jumping in your air with your hands above your head and trying to catch the ball. It takes a lot of skill, and also you've got to remember that there's two people, if not three people, trying to do exactly the same thing and get the ball. It's never going to be pretty to say, but it's definitely going to be part of the game in the future.
100%. Final question, Ollie. What are you most proud of in your rugby career to date?
I would say when we won the Prem, so that the month that we won the Prem would be my period. I won the Prem. I won Prem top try scorer that year. I also then 2 weeks later made my England debut and got picked for my first England tour. So I think that period of also a little bit before that, but I also had my daughter was born sort of 4 weeks before that as well. So yeah, I think that whole sort of 2 month period was really special and probably my proudest rugby memory as a whole, definitely.
That sounds like a dream month.
Yeah, it was pretty mental. I didn't have much sleep the whole time, which was class, but we worked around it. But yeah, it was a special period. I think it's a bit weird because obviously winning the Prem, England debut, all that sort of stuff. I think when you ask me when I retire, that will probably still be my proudest moment. Hopefully not. Hopefully I'll go and do something else and we'll work it out. But I think that'll be very hard to beat.
Exactly. But
Yeah.
I just can't thank you enough for taking the time to be on our podcast, Ollie. Thank you so much.
No worries at all, buddy. Absolute pleasure.